The Wings were patient, and they finally got a good scoring chance. Here's Probert. He snaps the shot. Scores!
Oh, what a shot.
Boy, just out the inside of the goalpost. Probert trying to park out in front. Nice move, Sillinger. Probert. Hit shot. He scores! And it's 4-0. They hit the skate of Betteroff. Betteroff pucked it in front. They score!
Probert. Betteroff from Probert.
Now Shepard. He's got Probert cutting in front. Here's the pass. Probert scores! Great setup by Shepard.
Beautiful goal.
Welcome back. Our tribute to Bob Probert continues in and out of every break. I'm glad we see him scoring some goals here because he was an underrated goal scorer, Michael.
The 1 year he scored 29 goals. He was the best power forward in the National Hockey League. Unfortunately, other stuff took over at one point, but he was a guy that if he would have kept it up, if he didn't have a lot of the off-ice things, he could have been a Hall of Fame player.
And as we were chatting, you told a quick little story about him that you thought was kind of nice.
Yeah, we had, Mojo and I had our radiothons back in the day, and 1 year, I forget which year it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, him and his friend Ricky Rogo just show up out of the blue, like they had nothing else to do and just hung out and talked with the people there. It was great.
Yeah, probably something else. You know, I am delightfully surprised that the Tigers are just a half a game back of the Chicago White Sox, who are very hot at the All-Star break. How about you?
I'm stunned. I figured they'd win 79 games. That's what I said before the season. And it still might happen. They've been great at home, and they've gotten great contributions. Everybody knows from Jackson and Bosch, not to mention the veterans, what Cabrera has done, Valverde, Koch. What worries me is, can they play well on the road, or at least be 500 on the road? Because if they can't, they got no chance. And they need another starting pitcher. Verlander's been very good. Scherzer's been good since he's been back from Toledo. But right now, I don't trust Bonderman and Galarraga. And hopefully, when Porcello does come back, he can be the Porcello of the second half of last year. Then they have a shot.
I also did not think that at this point we would really be worrying about Chicago and not Minnesota.
I kind of did, because the White Sox starting rotation is so good, but now Peavy's out for the year, so that hurts them a little bit. But Danks and Floyd and Burley, they're all pitching really well.
Greg Kelser was on with us a little bit earlier in the program, and we should touch upon it as well. The whole mess with LeBron and Bosch and Wade, and how it all came down, and how it was choreographed and put together. You okay with that? Good, bad, or indifferent? I
don't care that they figured it out, that they wanted to play to each other. That didn't bother me. What bothered me is they went through the whole charade. Why even bother having teams come? LeBron, I have no problem that LeBron left. The way he handled it, with using the Boys and Girls Club as a ruse, the hour television show, it was ridiculous. It was so unnecessary. And that has made him the biggest villain in sports right now. Not that he left. Well, he would have been a villain just in Cleveland, but the way it happened, no respect. He didn't have the guts to call the owner, to call Dan Gilbert and himself. That is ridiculous. To me, the whole thing reminded me of The Wizard of Oz. It's like if he had the brain like the Scarecrow, he probably would have picked Chicago. If he had the heart that the Tin Man had, he might have, stayed where he was, and he certainly didn't have the courage of the Cowardly Lion to even try to do it by himself as well.
You mentioned villain. Right now, Miami is the biggest villainous team in the NBA, and I think everybody wants them to lose and not win this thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know what? David Stern's going to love that, though. Because, you remember the bad boys, everybody hated them, they marketed them. Everybody needs a villain, especially the way the NBA's turned into WWE. You need a bad guy. The Miami Heat are the bad guys.
You've got choices for your Stonehead, I know, with all the LeBron stuff.
Well, it is LeBron James for being the Stonehead, for being the gutless guy who wouldn't even pick up the phone and call the owner of the Cavaliers, for doing the whole thing. Not that he left. It's just the way it happened that is just Stonehead-esque.
Now, you mentioned that, and it's an interesting point, because some have said, and I've heard this, the owners, when they trade a player necessarily or get rid of a player, they're not exactly loyal to them. Why should LeBron be loyal to Dan and have talked to him beforehand and getting criticized for the way he handled it?
Because LeBron was different. It was a different situation in that city for that franchise. And Gilbert did everything that LeBron asked him to do. They kissed his butt for 7 years, basically. And, with Dan Gilbert with the letter, I thought that was a little inappropriate. It was knee-jerk. I think he should have waited and not hit send and should have deleted. And what he told the AP was worse, about quitting in this game and that game. Well, what Dan Gilbert did, he's just opening himself up, in my mind. Give me the evidence. You said you basically, covered up for him for all those years. All right, now tell us how. Right. You brought it up. You tell us how. You show us how he quit. I thought he quit in Game 5 this year. I didn't think he quit Game 6 back in 2009. So I think it's really a bad situation.
All right, we're glad you didn't quit on us, by the way.
No,
Good
never.
to see you, Michael, as
Thank you.
always. We are back with more of the update after this, so please stay right there.